People think quiet people don't notice much, but that's usually the opposite of the truth. Some people are quiet because their mind never really stops observing. You notice the small things, the pause before someone answers, the fake smile that disappears too fast, the sudden shift in someone's energy right before they say they're fine. And after a while, you stop listening to words too closely. You start listening to patterns. That's why certain rooms feel exhausting so quickly. Your mind is processing things most people don't even realize are happening. And people misunderstand that. They call you shy, cold, distant, sometimes even arrogant. But most of the time, they're just uncomfortable that they can't read you immediately. Because silence gives people nothing to control. No performance, no constant reaction, no need to prove anything. And while everyone else is busy trying to be understood, you're watching. You notice more than people think, maybe more than you even want to. Most people only hear what is being said. But you started paying attention to everything around the words. The hesitation, the forced confidence, the tiny change in someone's face. When a certain topic appears, you notice when somebody is pretending to be calm. You notice when someone's kindness feels rehearsed. You notice when a person is smiling, but their body already left the conversation minutes ago. And after enough time, you stop trusting words too quickly. Because patterns tell the truth faster than sentences do. That's why crowded places can feel strangely heavy. Your mind keeps scanning everything, the tension, the energy, the small inconsistencies nobody else notices. And the strange part is, people think quiet people are disconnected, when really, they're overloaded. And sometimes, this doesn't come from wisdom. It comes from survival. Some people learn to stay quiet very early in life. You learn to read moods before you ever learned how to relax. Certain footsteps meant tension. Certain silences meant something was wrong. So your body adapted. You became observant. Not because you wanted to, because it felt safer. And after enough years, your nervous system stops asking questions. It just scans automatically. Who's angry? Who's fake? Who's hiding something? People call this emotional intelligence. But sometimes, it's exhaustion. Sometimes quiet people aren't calm. They're overwhelmed. Just very good at hiding it. That's the part nobody really sees. The exhaustion. Because noticing everything comes with a cost. You walk into a room, and your mind immediately starts reading people. Who's uncomfortable? Who's pretending? Who's carrying anger they haven't spoken about yet? And after a while, you stop feeling relaxed around people. You start feeling responsible for the atmosphere around you. Other people's stress sticks to you. Their tension, their sadness, even when they never say a word. That's why some conversations drain you for hours afterward. Not because you're weak, because your mind never fully stops processing. And eventually, you become the listener for everyone else. The calm one, the understanding one, the safe person. But very few people ever stop and ask, what's happening inside you? And that's where the loneliness starts. Not the kind caused by being alone. The kind caused by feeling unseen. Because people slowly get attached to what you give them, without really knowing who you are underneath it. They come to you when life gets heavy, when they need advice, when they need comfort. And you listen. You always listen. But after a while, you realize something painful. People know how you make them feel, but they don't really know you. And eventually, you stop explaining yourself too, because you notice how rarely people truly try to understand. So you become quieter. Not because you have nothing to say, because speaking starts feeling unnecessary. And this is usually the moment quiet people change. They stop reacting so quickly. They stop defending themselves to people committed to misunderstanding them. Because after enough experience, you start noticing something. Manipulative people depend on emotional reactions. They need you angry, confused, defensive, desperate to explain yourself. But when you stay calm, their control starts disappearing. That's why silence makes certain people uncomfortable, not because it's weak, because they can't control it. You stop trying to win every misunderstanding. You stop explaining your intentions to people who already decided who you are. And the quieter you become internally, the easier it becomes to see people clearly, without emotion blinding you, without noise distracting you, without needing validation from everyone in the room. But living this way for too long can slowly destroy you too. Because constantly reading people is exhausting. Your mind was never supposed to carry every room you walk into. And at some point, you have to stop confusing hyper-awareness with safety. You don't need to monitor everyone's emotions to deserve peace. You don't need to absorb other people's chaos just because you can feel it. That's the trap quiet people fall into. They become so focused on understanding everyone else. They slowly disappear from themselves. Real peace isn't becoming numb. And real strength isn't staying silent all the time. It's learning what deserves your energy and what doesn't. It's learning that you can care about people without carrying them emotionally. And maybe that's the hardest part. Realizing you don't have to explain yourself endlessly just to be understood. The world has become very loud. Everybody is reacting, performing, trying to be seen, trying to prove something. But quiet minds move differently. They pause, they observe, they think before they hand their energy to something. And in a world addicted to noise, that's becoming rare. So maybe your silence was never the problem. Maybe people just misunderstood it. Maybe the real problem is that you've spent your whole life feeling responsible for everything around you. Every mood, every shift, every tension in the room. But you don't have to carry all of it anymore. You can let people misunderstand you. You can stop over-explaining. You can stop trying to save every connection. Because being quiet doesn't mean you're weak, and noticing everything doesn't mean you have to carry everything. Sometimes, the strongest thing a quiet person can do is let the noise pass through them without turning it into their responsibility. And maybe that's why quiet people seem distant sometimes. Not because they feel nothing, because they've spent their whole life feeling too much. If you've ever felt that way, you probably understood this video more than most people will.